Okay, well, welcome back to another episode of this wonderfully titled Murray Meets. And I am really, really delighted today because we have a very special guest, Maja Gedosev, who is the general manager of Europe for JetBlue. Now, I'm sure anyone who's been following travel news, anyone who's been following anything that's going on that's exciting in the middle of this pandemic, it's got to be the JetBlue story. So first of all, Maja, hi, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. It's really a pleasure, Ian.
Yeah, it's great to see you. I mean, we know each other well. We've been working together. I feel honoured and proud to have been part of this. Well, it's such an exciting, slightly mad journey we've been on, right? I'm just so happy to see you and to be part of this. So, listen, before we kick off with JetBlue and all the story around JetBlue, let's talk about yourself, because for those who don't know you, why don't you just give us all a bit of a background to you, where you're from, how did you get here? How did you end up at JetBlue? What's going on?
Thanks, Ian. Thanks a lot for the questions. Well, it's been quite a journey on my side as well, to be honest. I've been for quite some time in aviation. I am Serbian by origin. I am German by nationality, and I now live in the UK. Go figure.
Right. Okay.
I've been around for a while. I've worked. I started actually my career with Lufthansa at check-in, which is probably the best way to enter aviation and to sort of like fall in love with it. And having worked at the airport and experienced that kind of buzz and vibe, I sort of stuck with it. And I went on to work with Etihad Aviation Group for a while, following which I was sort of part of Air Serbia rebranding and reset. Also worked for a while with Air Seychelles, and then following which I moved to the UK to start working for Flybe, which was at that time the largest European regional carrier.
Yeah. You're just coming back, right? I mean,
yeah,
right? Exciting.
That's right. Exciting. You know, aviation is always very, very exciting. You never know what you're going to find out, the next day you wake up. So, and while at Flybe, I got to meet the amazing JetBlue team. And to be honest, I fell in love with the brand, with personalities, with people, with the crew members that I met across the board. And it was sort of like my dream for the next step in my career, which came true basically during the pandemic. So that's another one. So I am today, boots on the ground for JetBlue. I have been here now for a couple of years already. Coming March 2022, I'll be 2 years with JetBlue, which is really unbelievable. And that puts us back at the lockdown days of 2020, when I first started working for JetBlue. So we've come a long way, Ian, together.
Yes, we have.
So I'm proud to be, here today to be able to look back and say, hey, we've done a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, we've done a lot of good. Well, let's talk a little bit about that. So, I mean, first of all, what a great story, right? I mean, I think as much as there's been such hardship, it's been a really, really tough time for everybody. But there's always light, and there's always hope, and there's always good things to come. And I think this story, for me, is pointing towards the future. It's pointing towards where we're all going to be, and it's a very positive story. So let's talk about it. So we'll go back then to 220, and there we were in the middle of the grips of all of this uncertainty. We really, I mean, if you think about it, we didn't know what was going on. We didn't know how this was all going to unfurl. And some guys in JetBlue are sitting there going, you know what we want to do? We want to start flying transatlantic. And I love that. So tell me, when did you get the phone call? What was that first messages? And then we can sort of build up from there.
Well, very interesting, actually. We've been talking for quite some time, even before the pandemic hit, about launching transatlantic. I believe that our CEO, Robin, and
Yeah.
Joanna, our president and CEO, have been sort of uh, giving interviews for quite some time,
Yes.
looking back 4 or 5 years, announcing these routes. So the pandemic came, and nobody expected it was going to take as long as it takes, and
Yeah.
it's still basically ongoing. We all thought, oh, what, this is going to be over in a couple of months, or 2 to 3 months, from now. So I'm talking back March 2020, right? And actually, we after very quickly we realized it wasn't going to be over that soon, and that we will actually going to have to learn how to live with this pandemic. So, but during that period, as you know, the industry was hit hard, and a lot of our colleagues in the industry had uncertainty over their jobs and future of their careers, etc. I feel that JetBlue sort of responded very well. We never furloughed anyone in at JetBlue during the past 2 years. We made sure that we sort of keep the machine working and going in the background, supporting our crew members on the front line to make sure that we can respond quickly and adjust to the circumstances driven by the pandemic itself. So I think what happened here was, and as my CEO would put it, we sort of played offense. We were looking to kind of find pockets of opportunities where we could sort of position JetBlue as the carrier of choice, and whether it is launching new routes or increasing frequencies in certain routes where we could see potential traffic being maintained during the pandemic. And one of these projects was the transatlantic launch. We did commit to launch in 2021, which we successfully did, but that required long sort of work in preparation to do that. So 2020 for us was sort of the year where we looked at how can we best position ourselves in the UK market, specifically in London. Do we go for one airport? Do we go for two airports, as we have strategy in certain markets as well? So that was sort of for us kind of like, what are the opportunities that have been created by the pandemic itself that we could use for the benefit of our own business? And for example, Heathrow is an obvious opportunity that opened up for us during the pandemic. Getting slots at Heathrow is almost impossible, especially during normal times.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was for us sort of like a pocket of opportunity where we said, all right, let's explore this. Let's have a look. How can we do this? How do we actually access Heathrow? And I'm really happy to say now that we have had slots for summer 21. We are currently operating a winter 21 at Heathrow, and we're definitely looking to continue our operations beyond winter 22 into summer 22 and beyond. And we do believe that, considering this sort of uncertain outcome of the pandemic, that the opportunity will continue to be there for us beyond winter 21. So that's sort of kind of the thinking we had. It was a lot of work with numerous partners to make sure that we put ourselves or position ourselves properly, both on the commercial side, but also on sort of the operational side at the airports that we selected to operate to and from, which are Gatwick and Heathrow. So we sort of went through all that kind of prep phase to come to our launch of flights in August 21.
Fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about the product. This now, because this is different, and we've seen new guys come on the block, right? I mean, there won't. I think you can't help but to compare and to look, which I always think is unfair, because every airline that's come on, to launch new routes has its own flavors. but you guys have a very particular flavor, right? So let's knock something on the head straight away by describing the carrier, right? You're not a low cost carrier, are you? That's very important to get this point across, isn't it?
Definitely. And so we are a carrier that has history. I mean, we are a pretty young carrier. We were established in 2020, and we're mostly known sort of as a New York's hometown airline and a home carrier in the United States, across the United States. We have operated flights in the US, Latin America, Caribbean, Puerto Rico, and only since 2021, we have actually launched our operations across the Atlantic. Uh, we are very different from other transatlantic carriers, if I may say so, and specifically because of the product that we use to operate these flights. Unlike others, we use the narrow body aircraft, which is the Airbus A321LR, the long range version, which has in total 134 seats. So when you think about it, it's a single aisle aircraft crossing the Atlantic, which offers a very different experience. That said, however, we have also developed a number of sort of one-off, first-off features together with Airbus and our seat design providers, which make our product very, very attractive. Or let's put it this way, I don't want to say it, I'm very biased, but very, very superior on transatlantic.
Yes.
We like to say that we do not want to compromise quality to provide low fares. So what we offer is actually amazing quality, superior product at very low fares. And what we like to also do is provide those fares on a continuous basis. So we're not talking about just a short period of time where you'll see low JetBlue fares. We're talking about continuous commitment to the market that we will bring low fares and that our customers will continue to enjoy that proposition on transatlantic flights.
Fantastic. And it's a two-class product as well, right? So just briefly explain the two sides of the aircraft.
So that's right. So we do offer two cabins on board our aircraft. In the front, we'll have Mint. This is how we call our business class product. Mint has in total 24 suites, of which 2 are studios, and I'll say what's different about those shortly. But the suites provide a very unique private experience. These are all single aisle seats where you're have your privacy, you have door to close, you have a do not disturb sign to click on, you have a lie-flat bed equipped with most amazing, cushions and comfortable sort of seating with incredible amenities that come along with it, and amazing, of course, onboard food and beverage selection, which we did in partnership with New York's best restaurants such as Delicious Group and Dig. So I would say that the product is very unique, and everyone that has flown it so far has had just an amazing feedback to give. They just didn't expect it. It's so unexpected, actually, on such an aircraft. I did mention we have 2 studios. These are at the very front of the Mint cabin, and we have in total 2 of those, 1A and 1F seats. These actually can accommodate up to 2 customers in each seat, and which allows basically anyone that is traveling together to have a lunch together, or for example, have a business meeting together. And this is really a fantastic feature of those 2 studios. In addition to that, we have our core cabin. So core experience, the way we like to call it, it's probably our basic offering that stretches across all our network, also US and the rest of the market. And basically core is our so-called economy, that has two types of seats, basically the regular core seat and the even more space seat. We do claim the title of the most legroom seat pitch on any transatlantic flight. On our regular seat, we have about 33-inch pitch, and on our even more space seat, we have about 38-inch pitch. So it is impressive. You can stretch your legs. You can really get off that transatlantic flight feeling, super pumped for the day and ready for your meetings. And also what's really, really interesting in core cabin, which I experienced also just the other day, is that actually you're able to order your seat from your meal from in-seat sort of screen. And basically you just go through the options, which are very healthy as well. We have also some nice salad options and nice sort of variations on vegan, vegetarian meals and so on. So basically you can select a combination of the meals that you like to receive, and the cabin crew will just pass through and deliver your meal, and you'll enjoy it alongside with live TV options, free Wi-Fi across the cabin.
Okay, I'm sold. I'll take it. I'll go. Let's go to New York, or as I hear, you've got Boston as well on the cards, right?
So we did commit at the very beginning that we will launch London from our two focus cities. This is what we call our basically key sort of cities that we operate out of in the United States. So one is New York, one is Boston, and Boston is definitely on the cards. We committed to launch flights. We have postponed, of course, due to the pandemic, and launched instead 2 frequencies on JFK. However, come summer 22, we intend to launch Boston, and stay tuned for more on that, because hopefully very soon you'll be able to also purchase those tickets with us.
Fantastic. And you've just got back as well, right? You took a crew, yeah? I've got a little plug for our 2 ladies, Claire and Axel, who were with you, the JetBlue team in the UK. You took them with some of the trade out to the States, right?
That's right. And I'm actually glad that you mentioned that, because it was a fantastic familiarization trip. Honestly, you can't really sell anything until you experience it yourself. Exactly. So we finally got that opportunity, 6 months into operations, and to bring a group of really dedicated travel trade partners to New York. But why is it also very important is because, over the past 2 years, customers, the wider public, has actually forgotten a little bit about what it is like to travel to New York. And I have to say, I admire New York partners in the way that they have actually come together to sort of refresh, reinstate New York, and put it again on the map as the destination. One would think it's definitely a no-brainer, but it's not that easy, So I'm really pleased that we work together with New York City & Co., with Westin Hotels, with a lot of partners such as, Empire State Building, Rockefeller Center, the Hudson Yards, the Edge, and so on, across New York, to actually deliver this incredible, refresh experience for the familiarization trip partners, because they'll go back and they'll say, hey, New York was actually amazing. We're seeing it through different eyes, and it was amazing on JetBlue flights as well. So that is the cool thing about it.
Yeah, it's just great. Look, as I said, at the start of all this is a great story, right? It's a story on all fronts, right? I'm pleased not just for yourselves, but for all the other carriers that are back on the transatlantic. It's the market. We all know it. It's the one, it connects 2 huge continents together. The trade and the business, the historic, everything, the links, the travel, the leisure, you name it, it's all there. So for you guys to be part of that, and with your energy, reinvigorating that piece as well. The big A is, it's a knockout place, and the flying time, the comfort you've got on board. It's all there for the customers to enjoy. So look, great story. So here we are now looking ahead for 2022. So when you are sitting there with your guys in the States talking about plans, talking about what next year brings. What is the new year for JetBlue looking like?
So I'll start by saying the one biggest challenge we have right now is actually capacity.
Right.
So our flights are selling like hotcakes. It is just 134 seats per flight. So what we need to ensure come 2022 is to actually offer more JetBlue to the market.
That sounds great.
Exactly. So we had a delivery of 3 aircraft this year. These are all Airbus A321LRs. We have additional 3 Airbus A321LRs coming in 2022, which we will dedicate to growing our presence in the UK market. So this is what we're looking forward to. Basically, what we'd like to do is increase capacity or frequencies on New York, but also dedicate new additional flights to Boston, London routes. So this is going to be our main focus in 2022, ensuring that those 6 aircraft that we have are fully deployed and operational on our London routes. And then I believe, we got to start in 2022 working on what's next, what comes later. And that will for sure be looking at other European markets as well, because I don't know how much you know, but we have in total another 26 aircraft arriving that are purposed for transatlantic flights. So we got to put that capacity somewhere. And the idea would definitely be to sort of identify some markets that will be operated by Airbus A321LRs, but we also have XLRs, which can actually have a further reach into the European markets.
Hey.
So let's say beyond the usual suspects like Ireland, France, or let's say Netherlands, hopefully that opens up, we'll also be able to serve some interesting markets like potentially Italy or Spain, or look beyond, into the further sort of distances.
Yeah. Fantastic. Now, I think we should also talk a little bit about, you've got partners that you're doing this with, and also we shouldn't forget to mention that all of these flights are connecting with the domestic. We've got transcons, you've got your full domestic network, which is all up and running, all operational. So do you want to say a few words about the partners and the fact that this product really connects people very easily out everywhere in the States, right?
Definitely. So first of all, let's talk about the States. I think, there is definitely a tremendous opportunity for customers that travel across the Atlantic to actually experience JetBlue on domestic flights and beyond to Latin America, Caribbean, etc. Why? Because, landing into JFK, we are, we offer a wide network of destinations from there that can connect, UK customers in particular to their favorite destinations, either to the West Coast or, like I said, Latin America. And even, like those Disney fans, Florida is one of our key also destinations. So that's one very big benefit of choosing a JetBlue and transatlantic, to be able to smoothly actually connect to other favorite destinations across the US. But in addition to that, we have recently expanded our partnership through the Northeast Alliance with American Airlines, and that gives additional choice and options to our customers traveling also to the East Coast and beyond. So that for me is sort of one of the biggest achievements, along with launch of London flights that we have achieved in 2021. Now, looking at the European side, we have most recently announced the expansion of our codeshare agreement with Aer Lingus. So that's one of the key partners for us in transatlantic flights. In addition to that, we have Iceland Air that we have as well expanded our codeshare partnership with. But we also have, in addition to that, around 44 different airlines that we either have signed codeshare or interline agreements in the past. that actually give that flexibility to our UK customers to actually connect to Heathrow and then beyond. So in my view, looking at what we are able to offer at this point, although it looks like, you know, we have a very small operation in London, we in fact, through our codeshare partnerships and partnerships with other airlines, offer a much greater choice to our customers.
Wow. I mean, that is important, isn't it? I mean, you know, this is all part of the product, all part of the experience. So look, it all sounds fantastic. I mean, you know, you're it's like you're like so hungry and eager and enthusiastic. I mean, we see it. Look, we're working with you. We feel the energy. We feel your energy, and I think you are just a magnification of the carrier's brand. I mean, you know, you and all the guys over there are just a breath of fresh air to what is a very important part of the travel space. So, you know, I think it's wonderful. Just a little comment on the trade then. I mean, obviously, you know, the trade are important to the ecosystem. And I say this on every podcast I've done. I mean, I'm just amazed at the resilience of this industry and of those people. I'm so proud to be part of that story because I just believe, like we all do, that travel is it's there and it's not going to go away. So no matter what everybody says, you know, we're all desperate to get back out there, and our travel partners are a massive part of that. So when you're with the trade, I mean, what's the feedback? How have the trade responded? What are you doing to help them?
Amazing question, actually, and I have to say humbly, it's been a very much an educational journey working with travel trade for us at JetBlue predominantly. Why? Because as you can imagine, as most of the US carriers, you know, we have been sort of focused a lot on our US market and how we, you know, position ourselves there. Over the past 2 decades, you know, we've been building our brand, we've been investing in our brand, and we have seen a tremendous increase in our direct channel bookings in the US market. And, you know, for us, you know, in the US, it is by default, you know, the JetBlue.com, where we will see a lot of transactions happening for our carrier. However, crossing the Atlantic, you know, it has been sort of like a completely new experience for us, and like I said, a huge you know, learning. So what I can say is that we definitely understand well that in this market we must and have to work with the travel trade, that they are our voice and that they will be the ones to actually present our brand and tell our joint customers why they should select JetBlue. And this is what we've been working, you know, together with you at Discover to actually establish those relationships over the past, you know, when did we enter BSB? In March this year, 2021. So it's been now almost like 9-10 months, you know, that we've been present in the market. And we are trying to build those relationships with the travel trade, working hard to ensure that we respond in the way that, you know, they can work with us, you know, to deliver those sales tools in the market that allow us to work smoothly with them and that allow them to actually, with ease, sell our product. So that's the whole name of the game is, you know, how do we work in a win-win partnership to deliver for our customers in this market? And at this point, I mean, I have to say thank you, big, huge thank you to Discover the World for actually giving us, you know, that support, sharing your experience in the markets, which helped us shape our sort of approach as well. And then also, you know, in addition to that, you know, giving us the opportunity and access to speak to the wide range of travel trade partners in the market to actually establish our own path forward. And for me, that has been sort of the most important sort of developmental point in this year, not just for me personally, but also I believe for our carrier.
Yeah, listen, I mean, it's been a journey for all of us, right? And you know, some of us, you know, worked in the past on the transatlantic, but everything is new here. I mean, the landscape's new. a new carrier, new expectations from everything from how we're going to purchase through to the product we want to receive. I mean, and you're part of that sort of pioneering, or at least it feels like it's a pioneering, it's a very forward-looking approach, and I really applaud you guys for it. So look, I think just to finish off, I mean, any last comments you want to make to your customers, to the trade, to the listeners on this podcast about JetBlue and about looking forward for next year?
Well, I'll just say one thing, JetBlue is not just an airline. It's actually, we are a travel company. And we have a few other, sort of parts of our business that deliver value for customers globally now. And I'll just mention that we do have, JetBlue Vacations. It's basically another sort of arm that we are able to package offerings for our customers traveling out of the United States. But we also have another arm that is actually busy with identifying phenomenal opportunities to invest in that will deliver for travel industry in the future. It's called the JetBlue Technology Ventures. And, all together, we kind of look to the future and identify projects that will move the needle for our customers. So the one thing I'll say is that, JetBlue is all about innovation and all about customers. And it's all about how to combine the two to bring the most value in the market. So I'll say stay tuned, because there's more coming. There's more coming from our corner and of the world. And I really, look forward to having more UK customers experiencing our product, our brand, our amazing crew service that they will experience on board our flights. And then, of course, gaining more followers and loyal customers in the future.
There's nothing more to add, right? I mean, I think you've covered it all. I think anybody listening here, I mean, they can't help but fail to feel that energy and that passion. And that's what we need, right? I mean, that's what this brand's all about, and it's what we're all about. So, Maja, listen, thank you so much for spending this time. You're one of the busiest ladies I know. So I'm not even asking you what you're doing after this. You've probably got 15,000 other calls lined up, and while you're running around London somewhere. So listen, all the very best to yourself, to the JetBlue team, and to 222. It's going to be a great year. It's going to be very successful. I'm very excited for you. And I'm looking forward to you, helping to, carry many passengers across to the States and beyond. So thanks a lot, Maja. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thanks a lot, Ian.
Take care.